Hello and good evening. We've got a Division D Week 6 match for you guys tonight. It's Steel Union versus Blackthorns Dragoons. Um, we may have some more after this match, but we're going to go ahead and open up with this one first. So Snap, why don't you tell me a little bit about the teams? Snap? Are you there? Oh, wow. Snap, I'm sorry. I asked you to go ahead and tell us about the teams. God, I switched my... couldn't even hear me.
I could not.
Oh. Yeah, that would be probably helpful. So, what do you know about the two teams here? I know they're... I know Steel Union is a collection of people from the Steiner Hub. I haven't heard about Blackthorns Dragoons, actually.
Blackthorns Dragoons, I've ran into a couple of their players, such as Lungbutter. They're just a pretty tight-knit unit. They do play MRBC Division stuff. I think they played a little bit of MBT when that was still around. I haven't really seen too much of their play, so...
Awesome. Well, at least we get to take a look here and see how this goes. We've got both teams in here right now. We're just getting everybody readied up. And our first drop is going to go ahead and be on Polar Highlands. 4 lights, 4 mediums. On Domination game mode. No strikes allowed, no strikes. And I know it still says C-Bills. I haven't gotten the chance to go ahead and grab the new overlay interface. So you're going to have to do math, and I'm sorry for that. It's difficult for us Americans, but y'all should be able to.
I mean, that said, all you really have to do is drop 3 zeros and you get the appropriate amount, I believe.
Yeah, provided I do calculations correct. You know me. So once both of these teams are readied up, we'll go ahead and get into the match. Wait for a second.
Should be starting here any minute now. Yeah, unfortunately, we could not cast the Risen versus 42 match tonight. Apologies to everybody who probably came here to watch that. There were some scheduling difficulties that occurred, and I believe that match is either happening at a different time tonight or a different day. So if it's a different day, we'll try to get you that, but didn't quite work out tonight. So just waiting for the teams to get ready right now.
Soon. I expect to see Brawl this time around. It's normally what you see with... It's a 4v... I mean, 4 light, 4 medium drop on Domination. I would be blown away if I saw...
I can't remember a time that somebody brought a range strat and made it work on drop 1.
I mean, Overwatch is one thing, 1 or 2 mechs, but like a focused, long-range strat, I would be impressed if they could make it work. Looks like we're going ahead and moving into match now, so good luck to both teams, and let's see what they can do.
Make sure you remember the thing.
Yep. The
thingy thing.
I'm a professional, Snap. I never forget anything. He said as he forgot probably something.
Shouldn't make broad promises like that.
Promise nothing and I give everything. Or is it I give everything and promise nothing?
So yeah, we're seeing Brawl for the most part here.
Don't say. Oh, I will grab my Gamma right now.
I'd like to say though, Steel bringing a Hunchback 4H. I am interested to see what that is. AC-20.
Ooh,
3 medium laser.
it's exciting.
That's something I haven't seen yet.
Well,
Normally it's the 4G, correct?
Yes, I think normally
Not
it
too
is.
familiar with Hunchbacks, but
I find myself in much heavier mechs. Both teams are rolling up on the drop circle now. Not much to talk about while they move up. What did both teams decide to spend their doubles on? It looks like Blackthorns decided to spend both of their doubles on Hunchback Forest Ps. Not surprising. I mean, it's an interesting choice as it is a very tanky mech, but I don't know if it's the most DPS friendly mech. A Phoenix Hawk for Steel Union.
and they also doubled up on cheetahs.
You mean Steel Union doubled on Cheetahs?
Correct.
Yes. Team has 2 sets of doubles. That would be unfortunate. Looks like they're rolling up here, kind of scouting each other, trying to figure out what's going on right now.
It looks like Steel is actually a little, well, yeah, both teams are just kind of trying to get together right now.
It's scattered. Spread lines here. Like Blackthorns is finally bringing up their mediums here, looking to brawl. Light's very stretched out on the circle, just making sure they don't get any tick down on the timer here. Teams are actually stagnant. Perhaps they're waiting for
It
strikes.
doesn't look like anyone's really looking to make a move right here.
The strike does go down for, it looks like, Steel Union. And
Complete
they
whiff
are
on that arty strike.
like they want to rotate right for Steel Union, but Dragoons is just kind of in motion. And it looks like Blackthorns is trying to make a move to the right, but this is a very tentative match. Normally you'll see people move in right away on the go for the kill. Not a lot of fire going out. Not much of. Actually, teams just seem to be filling each other out. UAV goes up for Steel Union, and Firestarter takes a little bit of a peek there. Doesn't punish too bad, but it is 87%. Damage is damage. I'm kind of wondering what both teams are trying to accomplish here. They're mostly just kind of standing.
I think each team is basically just trying to goad the other into attacking one.
Yeah. And nobody wants to cross that ridge, but you have the range. This is where
it doesn't look like either of them really want to just go over that top ridge right there, so they're just kind of sitting there. I would like to see a little bit more poking from the lights on either side. Maybe try to goad them into an engagement.
And it looks like
BTD. Here they go. They're making a move.
And Steel is a little bit spread out. This Firestarter looks like he's going to get the bat into the stick.
Completely. He is in front of the entirety of BTD right now.
And he loses his leg, and down he goes. First kill goes to BTD. Turning into a pretty dirty brawl. Not seeing a lot of focus fire, and Fanga overheats in the Stormcrow for Steel Union. Firestarter is a little bit soft for Blackthorn's Dragoons, but they take another kill. That Stormcrow goes down. The Forest P finally goes down for Steel Union. 2-1. Anybody's game at this point. Phoenix Hawk goes down for Steel Union.
All over the place right now.
There's multiple individual fights going on here, and that's a lack of focus. That lack of focus will kill you in a fight like this. And BTD goes ahead and takes another kill. At this point, Steel Union is looking to find that bonus. Not looking pretty. Nova very beat up on the left side there, and he does go down.
I'm not sure they're going to be able to get that bonus.
5-2. And that makes it 6-2.
They did manage to leg the Nova.
Nova is leg, but they only have their 2 cheetahs, it looks like, left. And I think
every kill does count, though, so if they could try to finish off that Nova, that would probably be fantastic for Steel right here.
Both of those lights have got to be on it. At this point, you just cannot split your damage. And Deathlord gets legged and dies in the cheetah, and it is just clear comms. And it looks like they are going to take this 8-3 in favor of Blackthorn's. It was an interesting maneuver to see a lot of that poking early on. A lack of poking, I should say. A lot of standing there and kind of just feeling up the enemy team. In that scenario, you almost kind of want to want something with a little bit more range to just kind of goad the enemy team into pushing. It seemed like both teams were full brawl, and they weren't really willing to dedicate to anything. They wanted the other team to dedicate. Let's go ahead and take a look at the damage.
Poor fire starter from Steel's side just got completely surrounded.
Wrong place and wrong time. But that's where peeking and kind of trading. If they were actively trading with the other team, they'd have a little bit of a better bearing on what was going on with the other team. So I think that I'd like to see a little bit more poking. Maybe even consider taking a Overwatch mech. All right, let's go ahead and get ready to go on to drop 2 here. The scores as well. So I'm going to go ahead and pull up a go ahead and poke you with a map strat. Let's set this up with all the craziness.
So,
Keep one.
Let me know when it's up.
I'm working on it. Should be good now.
All right, so pretty much kind of ran right towards the middle. And I think they just kind of stared at each other for a little bit, and then it looks like Steel kind of did a little maneuver around to the side here to their right, and ended up catching out a fire starter almost immediately. He went down pretty quick, and then after that, it was pretty much all she wrote. Not a whole lot of focus fire going on. There was a lot of individual fighting going on, a lot of people focusing different things. That was pretty hectic, but just the sheer, I think, just being outnumbered from the start. Oh, I'm sorry, BTD over Steel. Sorry.
Yes.
I mixed up my teams there. But BTD being a person up, basically from the get-go, pretty much swung it in their favor, regardless of that. So.
Yeah, and especially when you're a man down, focus fire becomes so crucial. And at that point, we were seeing a little bit of a lack of focus fire on both. And like you said, that early pick on that fire starter just played heavily in BTD's favor. So well done, BTD. It's a mouthful. So we're going into Forest Colony 242. This is your medium centric drop. We're getting both teams in here, and we should be good. So on this map, actually, I'm gonna. Why don't you go ahead and switch that map strat to Colony? Let's actually talk about this a little bit. Get ready. See what we talk about. What we hope to see, and maybe we can kind of do a before and after.
Well, I mean, Forest Colony. What you do kind of gets telegraphed by where the spawns are, correct? So, if you spawn Alpha Bravo, you're probably going to see Team 1 somewhere over in this area. And if Team 2 is up Bravo Alpha, and they're probably going to be somewhere over in this old chunk of land. And it just becomes a trading war. Now, the question is, this is drop 2. So whether or not these teams bring Brawl or Range Strat.
Or some mix in between. I mean, Overwatching, Brawl, that kind of stuff.
You could do a mix deck, yeah. So, I mean, that will definitely denote difference in positioning, difference in response. Probably even shuffling around the lances there, the spawning lances a little bit. But for the most part, it'll be but most teams, I think most engagements generally happen right around there.
Hotel line, yeah. Sometimes in the water, a little bit on the beach there in India.
Yeah, sometimes it'll happen in this grid square, but I mean, for the most part, most teams just kind of smash into the middle. Because it is pretty hard to grab caps off of another team.
There's very big sweeping movements. You have to make really sweeping movements, which, like you said, are pretty heavily telegraphed.
Yes.
Proper scouting will pick those up pretty quickly, especially the speed of the drop. 4 mediums, 2 lights, 2 heavies. You can make for a very nimble drop deck if you want. I'd hazard to say this is the drop that I see the most cap wins on, actually. Wouldn't you say? I've seen at least 3 or 4. This drop in particular, I've seen 4 cap wins on.
What, Forest Colony drop 2?
I'm I'm saying drop 2. I think it's just the max selection. 242. 242 drop. I've seen the
Well, I
most
know a
cap
couple of
wins
the
on.
cap victories have been dropped 2. The other ones I think have been dropped 3 as well. Pretty rare to see cap victories on the other drops, so I suppose they do happen now and again.
I suppose maybe even.
I believe there was a cap victory on 228 versus Imperial on drop 5, for example. But
Come to think of it, actually, it was cap win 228 versus dropship 5. Well, us. Drop 4.
us.
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 Us. I have like a 25-minute memory. Oh. So it looks like we got everybody in here, and we're going ahead and verifying lances, and we'll be good to go. Just from what I know of both teams, I'm going to call at least one of these teams being a brawl. I would actually almost say that they're both, which could be fun to watch. I mean, everybody loves a good brawl, right? Right, Snap?
Well, you're pretty familiar with FFI's playing style, correct? And that's a portion of Steel's roster, if I'm not mistaken.
I'm mostly familiar, I suppose. I would say that they would brawl. That would be my gut instinct.
Okay. Well, knowing what I know about BTD, and I have played against them before a while back, I'd probably say it's more brawl, maybe. Yeah, they tend to do a little bit of both. It's kind of hard to guess what they do, to be honest. Although, honestly, with drop 2, we're probably going to see brawl. Let's be honest.
Yeah, I would assume so as well. Looks like we're just about ready to go in here.
I do think Team 2 side favors ranged a little bit more, personally, but...
Yeah, a little bit. I know I just got rid of the overlay.
A lot of that probably. Well, that's the side with the radio tower, and
I think it's because of the choke points. The choke points lightly. You have like that pass, and then you've got like kind of like Hotel 8-ish. Most of that you can't really move through because of that ridge. And you got that whole wall, so it's kind of like there's 2 kind of choke points, so it's hard to spread lines really. Maybe that is something of it. Then again, I mean, you can use extreme range. Twitch chat and my joystick.
All right, here we go. The drop 2.
Here we go. Forest Colony, 2 lights, 2 mediums, 4 mediums, 2 heavies. Let's take a look.
I think we need a new catchphrase.
Going in for a closer look.
That's it.
There it is.
Glorious.
Go in for a closer look. So I can see the pixels in the back of the map.
I mean, when you think about it, that's all you really get when you play video games. It's just pixels.
Too deep. Too deep, too fast. Too much. Too much. So we're seeing a interesting setup. We've got it looks like probably a light on Kappa, would you say? Is that a light? I want to go find out. It is a light, a Jenner or BTD, looking like they want to take that early Kappa cap. I'm flying all over.
And it looks like BTD is definitely a brawl deck.
All right, and we're seeing Timberwolf C. Can you verify what that both those Timberwolves on FFI side are?
I am on it. They are Laser Vomit.
Interesting.
At least one of them.
FFI opting for an early Gamma cap. They're going ahead and take that. Looks like BTD is taking Sigma, and that light definitely looks like he's going for Kappa as well.
Kind of interesting decks from both teams here. I mean, they're both Brawl, but they're bringing Laser Vomit mechs behind, and it looks like BTD went with your standard Black Knight and your Warhammer for Laser Vomit, and it looks like Steel decided to go with Clan Tech.
Double Timbers, huh?
Uh-huh.
Seeing that Phoenix Hawk from Vlad Grendel again. Choice there. What he's running on that would be interesting. I haven't seen much in the way of the Phoenix Hawk in MRBC. See what people. FFI looking like they're gonna opt up here to take the arch right off the bat. Most of their heavies, their two heavies, and is that a hunchback? Oh, it's an IIC. Probably DACA. Oh, BTD sits on Theta. Like both of these teams have yet to identify where the other is, but FFI has got to know that the team is sitting on Theta. That was a very fast cap. Like they're trying to get a line spread and set up here, but
I don't like this positioning from Steel right now.
It is very brave and a little bit.
This reminds me very much of the Sig versus 42 game, where 42 was able to just walk right up to them without taking a whole lot of fire.
Strike going out. Looks like Fango took a nasty hit from that strike there. 83% from 100. He open anywhere?
Not that I can see.
Peek at what BTD is doing here. Well,
although I think BTD is stalling a little too much right here on this corner. They need to make a move.
Looks like FFI's two lights are going to opt to take the Sig, or at least, maybe they're going around to take some backs, but BTD's time is not in favor of BTD here. Always with a brawl deck, you want to be sure, you want to be definitive, and you want to move very quickly. So I'd like to see them go ahead and take this game into their hands. It's not a very long distance. They just need to cross it. And I'm seeing them kind of backing into that alleyway there.
I feel like there's a chance that they might try to go past, although I think that they're trying to take Epsi to try to force Steel to make a move here. So they are going for the 3 cap, although Steel is responding by taking Sigma.
And Epsi going down to BTD, it looks like. Raven is being extremely brave, and it looks like BTD wants to take some cheeks. They're coming out. They're going to go ahead and move on that firing line instead of squirreling after that Raven. Good choice, good choice. A lot of fire coming out on Raven Knight. Oh, that Timber is taking a beating
right now and missing most of his torso armor.
This is not looking good. FFI needs to pull that distance. They need to get away from this brawl team and take the time they need to burn these guys down. They don't have the heat cap in their favor. BTD is just looking to pick somebody. They just want somebody, and they take Raven Knight. He goes down.
Steel's Timber is down.
4 SP like for BTD.
The Hunchback 2C is also in trouble right now. He's down to 48%.
BTD's 4 SP is isolated and gets just destroyed. Goodness. You have to commit to that brawl. And it looks like BTD really just wants to pick another mech. They're looking at Fango. He's very low. Herf looks like he's beat up in that Timber there. And they go ahead and take Fango for a 2-1 lead in favor of BTD. Deathlord looking very beat up in the 2D2. Find him.
He is one-shot CT right now.
Not good. Looks like
they need to finish him off, though. They stop really focusing
on him. Hachi goes down in the Jenner. And it's a 3-2. It's a 3-3. It's anybody's game. Both teams are very beat up, and another one goes down. That is Cheetah for FFI. Excuse me, Steel Co. Or Steel Union. Too many teams. Vlad takes another kill, making it a 4-4. This is a nice, dirty brawl.
This is very
Stormcrow
close
giving
right
his
now.
back to the 2 ranged mechs there, but looks like the Warhammer and the Black Knight are still up for BTD. That's a lot of firepower, and you do not want to get in the face of that. Vlad at 25% in that Phoenix Hawk with a Flamer. It looks like he is stick. Deathlord takes another kill, putting it 3-4. And Deathlord does go down. It's 3-3. It's neck to neck. But the percentages definitely favor BTD. I would say Lungbutter takes another kill. And it looks like it's just Clear Comms is the only mech with guns on FFI's side.
I don't know if they really have an answer to this fresh Black Knight, though. He is not open anywhere, and down goes Clear Comms.
And that makes it a 5-8 decision in favor of BTD, but that is a bonus. And I don't think that they have enough time. They don't have enough tickets to really make that a ticket win.
No, they don't.
They'd need a couple hundred more. They could have, if they could have delayed any longer, they might have been able to pull something, but they needed a quad cap.
I think if they had about another 1.5 to 2 minutes, I think that would have been enough on the 3 cap to put it closer to Probably about like 650, 700. That's really what they would need.
Yeah, you have to just, especially in a range deck like that, as soon as you identify the enemy team as a brawl, it's almost better to try to spread your line a little bit so that you can receive them and all guns can be on, but it takes them more time to pick out each individual member. So you can just run the timer.
I do think that this was closer than it needed to be, though, because of the amount of time that BTD spent around that
Yes.
corner.
I would definitely agree with you.
Yeah, I think they hesitated just a little bit too long, although it did work out. So props for that. It looks like tickets just flipped. So yeah, we're looking at a 5-8 victory for Blackthorn Dragoons. Damages are Logic Vice doing a little too little, 48 damage in the 4 SP. Verite and Vlad Grendel from Steel side, 71 and 99 damage, and a Cheetah and a Fixhawk respectively. About 116 damage at a Haji and the Jenner 2C. Otherwise, pretty decent damage. Although I'd like to shout out to TML Brian from Blackthorn Dragoon side for doing almost 500 damage. And Soviet Armada from Steel side doing 545 damage in a Wolverine.
Some pretty high damage numbers there, actually.
And 569 damage at a Cygnus and a Crow, which I believe was the Streak Crow on Blackthorn Dragoon side.
Definitely an interesting match. I was not kind of expecting that kind of hold, but I think that if FFI had been able to utilize that hold and exploit it, I think they could have played that game in their favor. They just a little too tentative on both teams' side, I think. Controlled aggression can really turn the game in your favor. So we're going into drop 3 here. Blackthorn's Dragoons has a 2-win lead. The last game was very, very close, 5-8. But that puts Blackthorn's Dragoons at a significant reputation lead. That's 400 reputation. I know you can drop 3 zeros. Sue me. So we're going into drop 3, which is a 3, 4, and 1 drop. That's 3 mediums, 4 heavies. Yes, heavies. And 1 assault. That has to be an 80-ton assault. That's your command mech. So looking forward to seeing this drop. And that drop is on HPG. So what do you think we're going to see here? I personally love to try and guess what command mech we're going to see out of each team. And, I mean, I'll buy you... Okay, I will... If I am right, you will buy me a beer. And if I am wrong, I will buy you a beer. Sound fair? Sound fair?
Sounds fair to me.
Okay, do I have to be right for both mechs, or do I have to be...
What map is this? HPG?
This is HPG. I'm going to call the...
I'm going to have to say we're going to have to be right about it.
On both?
I'd say both.
Well, throw the Victor out of the equation because nobody runs that thing, right? So I'm going to say that Steel is going to bring a Zeus, and then I'm going to say that BTD brings an Awesome. That's kind of a guess. It's kind of a gray area for me, so I'm going to say that they're going to bring an Awesome, and Steel is going to bring a Zeus. So if you want to write that down somewhere, but I really think... I think I'm going to be right on one of them, but I'm pretty much resigned to buying you a beer.
I'm going to go with the same thing for Steel. I think it's going to be a Zeus, most likely. Okay. But I'm going to... Actually, you know what? No, for FFI, I'm going to go... Or FFI Steel, FFI BSM, TCMC. I am going to go with a Gargoyle. And
okay,
BTD,
so somebody in chat write this down.
With a Zeus.
Okay, so somebody in chat write this down. So I went with FFI having a Zeus, and I went with BTD having an Awesome.
Deal.
Snap went with a... What was it?
What? I went with Steel bringing a Gargoyle and Blackthorn Dragoons bringing a Zeus.
Well, okay, so at this point, maybe we should just make it... Maybe we should just make it whoever is more wrong has to buy the beer for the other at this point. Because, like, And maybe if like I'm right or you're right, the other
This got
person just
really
has to buy you 2
complicated really
beers.
fast.
I don't know. Anyway, the point being is this, if I win, you owe me a cookie. Moving along. So we're going into drop 3 here. BTD has a 2-win lead with 400 reputation points in their favor. So Steel Union is looking to come in here and kick some asses and take some names. This has to go in their favor. They want to recoup that reputation deficit right now. Not all is lost, but 400 reputation starts to become a pretty big lead, especially as you start going into these bigger drops. So let's hope that for your Steel Union fans out there, let's hope that they can bring this back. And if BTD can just be a little bit more decisive, I think they can take a couple more games, if not all of these games. I think that both of these teams just need to. I'd like to see more decisiveness out of them. And I think that would really play well in their favor. Both of them, honestly.
Yeah, definitely. It's interesting to see what the spawns are coming out of HPG right away. So, is that with the spawns being the craziness that they are on Conquest, as most people, doing this sort of planning know, it's where you put your people can really telegraph your starting strategies here. So.
Yeah, I mean, especially with Team 1, because you have that Alpha Bravo that are so close, and you can just charge out there toward that spine. It can telegraph a little bit of what you're going to do. So, and honestly, like, when you look at HPG, it looks like a big map, but honestly, you got the pie, as it were, in the middle, and then you've got the side areas. And so the side areas don't really come into play very often. So that map is actually not that big. It's 4 grid squares. That's pretty small. I know there's layers to that map, and there's pretty good cover and such what, but this is usually a hard and fast map. So you have to be very decisive. You have to be very aware of what the other team is doing, and there are no lights in this drop. So it's on your mediums to try and get that scouting info. Every bit of information helps. And if you lose track of the enemy, they can pop out behind you, above you, below you, and you can have no idea. So it's very, very important, especially, like I said, with how small this map is, scouting for info is extremely important. Excuse me. Can't talk today.
Correct. It's also hard to miss a couple of certain things on this map, too. Like, your scouting info is just going to come naturally just from, normal play. And a lot of that just comes down to team communication and team comms. So,
and comfortability, I would say. The more comfortable you are.
Ability to gel.
Yeah. Everybody loves to gel. Looks like both teams are ready. I think we're just about to load in here. Hashtag no radio casts. Oh.
I do think we're going to see some LPL vomit, though.
With that range nerf on the clan LPL, I mean, it's not too bad, honestly.
Oh,
HPG.
IS LPL. Definitely.
Yeah.
Would be my
Black
guess.
Knight, Warhammer 60, those kind of things. I would be surprised if we didn't see them. I mean, Peeps can work on here too, obviously, but...
Well, looks like we're seeing a mixed deck yet again coming out of Blackthorn Dragoons. And they brought a Zeus.
Oh.
The other side, Steel, brought a Gargoyle and...
Oh, your beer.
2 Timbers. You do. Man, I called that one.
Sue me. Looks like BTD is opting to go ahead and take the left gate coming out of this Team 2 side here. Don't want to take any of that laser fire coming off of the spine there. Steel going ahead and moving up onto that spine. It's interesting to see the one gamma cap. It looks like they want to go ahead and sliver both and move on. Both teams not really willing to take a cap loss here, but Kappa is going out for BTD. At this point, you got to know, like, you see Kappa getting capped, you know Sig got capped. You have to know that they're undermanned. Aggression here would be advisable.
We actually got 2 Ultra 10 Timbers coming out of Steel.
Ultra 10s? Most people seem to be a little bit... Most people seem to be a little bit gun shy of bringing ultras, especially after the quote unquote nerf. But The jam chances are vicious. Looks like a little bit of peep fire coming out of Steel Union. BTD making a good move here and actually completely mitigating the bonus that spine gives to a ranged team by putting themselves at a T to it. Looks like they want to go ahead and rotate clockwise here and try and pick out this team here. Trying to take some backs here. Timberwolf is engaged with the whole team. You can't be taking those kind of peaks. You need to get... Honestly, in this situation, I'd say that being too high up can almost be a detriment to your angles here, especially on HPG. Seeing some fire coming off the wall there over by Gamma from Steel Union.
That is coming from Clear Comms and the Shadow Cat up on the wall. Fango Red took some bad hits right there. He's down to 76%.
It's the only real definitive damage that I'd say that's gone out right now.
His armor is almost gone.
He keeps taking some shots here. Steel Union needs to get aggressive. They need to put some fire back down. You can't just have one guy peeking alone. He's going to get focused. BTD continuing their movement.
While I do think that Steel generally has the upper hand here on positioning, I'm not entirely a fan of the positions that they're taking, because in order to peek from that area, you are skylighting very hard against the entirety of BTD's team, which for the most part is at least within the range of their weapons. And since both teams generally took pretty similar weapon styles here, it's,
It looks like a medium is moving out to Epsi to go ahead and take that cap for BTD. They want to get the pressure on here. Looks like they don't really want to commit up into a brawl on that spine. They want to try and pull people in or just put the pressure on here. Clearcom's getting in some good peep shots here, but the whole team is looking at him, and I don't know if it's safe to really kind of take some more shots here.
Yeah, I worry about this Shadow here, Clear Comms. He is really putting himself out there. I really hope he makes it over this wall jump, and he does.
Yep, he does. Sticks it.
That could have
He's
gone
getting
poorly.
shot by the 4SP on the ground there from some mediums.
This Timber looks like caught out, though. Vulcan from BTD side.
Looks like things are coming to a head here right now. And it looks like FFI and BTD are dedicating to the brawl.
It looks like BTD is doing a hard push around the corner.
Timberwolf has just got savaged. 42%. 35.
I don't think it's...
Timber...
he
oh,
backed
goodness.
up the majority of his team. So it looks like BTD has actually decided to go to the right.
They've stalled a little bit here, and that is brutal. Both their Timberwolves in red condition. Not looking pretty right there. Fango protecting that mech. Aggression coming out of him, but nobody else there to back him up. And he's not punished for it. Seeing some very ballsy moves out of Union here, and they take their first kill on that 2d2. Fango goes down, though. Back shot. Looks like from that Zeus on BTD's side. Engagement down here on the low outer ring. It looks like a kind of an unfair fight, but BTD wants some backs, and it looks like they're not going to get them. Driving off the 4SP as it moves in, and another kill goes in for Union, putting it at 3-2, but percentages are looking pretty bad for both teams. It's anybody's game right here. A little bit of focus fire out of BTD can bring a couple mechs down. It looks like they want that Timber. Herf is not having a good day.
Yeah, this is not a good position for Blackthorn Dragoons right now.
It's 4-1 right now, and it's starting to look like it's going to swing into Union's favor. Union should probably, at this point, with such a lead, opt to bring that command mech into a safe spot. He's at 52% in that gargoyle. Don't want to be taking trades alone like that. Ow. And another kill goes out for Union. And it looks like this is going to be a sweep in favor of Steel Union.
Yeah, I don't see them taking that gargoyle here either. Although
that Zeus is looking for blood!
He's loose.
He's loose!
On the gargoyle.
He's loose! 42, 40.
Can he get it?
Up!
One more shot.
Up! Not like this! Oh!
Up, the gargoyle manages to get the way, and I think this is going to go. Wait.
Oh! One last little burst out of the Blackthorn's Dragoons, but they did not manage to take that gargoyle. And look at the percentages.
I gotta give it to that gargoyle pilot. 34%. He is. That CT of his is bright red.
Look at those percentages. 22% on the Shadow Cat. Is he still on the wall? Oh, it looks like he has jumped down to go ahead and opt to take a cap. Goodness gracious, that is very low percentages. It was anybody's game quite a while there.
Incredibly close.
I think it was just that when those two Timbers took those trades and got fired on by Union, and they stopped, I think that was when it started to really heavily swing in Union's favor, because you lose all inertia when that happens. And then at that point, you're on the back foot, right? You're trying to push through, you're trying to recover, and no one likes trying to recover from that kind of back foot. Let's go ahead and take a look at the damages here. Want to run us through when it actually pops up?
Sure thing.
Why, thank you, Snap.
You're very welcome. All right, so pretty decent damage spreads. Deathlord and the Nova doing 644 damage. No kills, but 8 assists. So well done on that one. 501 damage out of the Warhammer 60 on Steel side. Feet. And notable mechs from BTD side was 506 damage in a Timber, Spice Weasel, and TM O'Brien, and a Warhammer 6R doing 427 damage.
Pretty big numbers coming out. That
No
Nova
one really
is impressive.
did any super low damage.
No, it was well
On each
spread.
team that did very low, like the sub 200, but I think believe those were the two people that got focused the first on each team. So, or relatively early on.
Yeah, and that engagement, like I said, it was anybody's game. It's just that stall killed all the momentum.
He came around the corner and he stopped and he backed up into his team and just basically made it almost impossible for his team to continue pushing that corner. So, but good on them for recognizing that they had to cut right afterwards. So,
yes, the recovery was very good, but at that point, I almost wonder if the back foot was just too far back to recover from. That was the win that Steel Union was looking to find coming into that game. That put them at a 550 rep to 625 rep, it looks like. So it's still in favor of Blackthorn's Dragoons, but that is definitely the win that Steel Union was looking for. I mean, honestly, a perfect drop would have been losing no mechs, but losing one mech is a very strong way to enter drop 4. So that puts this match series is in anybody's game. It's in anybody's court. So
also not killing that gargoyle is pretty big.
Bonus. That bonus helps a lot. And that, you could see that Zeus just wanted to pick that, but not this day.
Well, it's a way to deny your enemy free points, even though perhaps, let's say, you in drop 3, you only manage to kill one mech, but it's the assault mech. That's an easy way to deny them points as well as gaining yourself 25 points.
Especially this late in the season. I say it almost every cast. You're starting to really just play to the reputation. You want to place high in the division, so every rep point starts to count. Every mistake starts to add up. So at this point, you play cagey, you play to keep your rep. Do what you can. So we're going into drop 4 here. You want to go ahead and run us through actually drop 3, though? What you saw? I got the overlay up for you already.
All right, well, pretty much saw this kind of movement come out of Steel. And then BTD side kind of saw them do that, kind of link up and kind of swung around here, stayed down there for a while. And then both teams kind of worked. I think Steel kind of spread themselves out along this way, and looks like BTD just kind of tried to roll in on the side there. I think there was a certain point where BTD tried to go ahead push around in that direction, while I believe Steel just kind of had a decent concave and just kind of received it. So
actually more like that, honestly. And that was what was interesting, is because like when he peeked around, he just got it.
Yeah, that is true. I mean, either way, well done.
Oh yeah, very well played.
That's what you need to do.
Looks like we've got both teams in here. And at that point, it was just kind of a bleed. They just kept picking mechs. They kept taking mechs, and bit of a rough thing to roll into on that right side when they made that right maneuver. So we're going into drop 4 here. Mining Collective. 2-2-2-2, correct? 2 lights, 2 mediums, 2 heavies, 2 assaults. Think we'll see Brawl? It's a small map.
I mean, people seem to be liking Brawl on this map lately.
Got the overlay.
Although in the higher divisions, I'd say that definitely hasn't been working out for them.
No, I think that I have seen some Brawl work on this. I know that 42 tried to bring it to Sig. Sig was able to counter it, but
I believe EMP tried some type of Brawl push versus Steel Jaguar, or sorry, Team Rectum.
Whatever they are now.
Last week. But that didn't work out too well for them. So honestly, it's I would like to say people would bring ranged here, but you know, hindsight's 2020 and all that.
And you could bring a mixed deck. I mean, it's all about how you play it so much, you know. I mean, yes, you can put yourself at a disadvantage in the mech lab, but it's all about how it plays, right? So I'm interested to see what both teams bring. We've seen a lot of Brawl out of BTD so far, so true to your word, I wouldn't be surprised if the trend continues. Somebody write it down. I owe Snap a beer. Should stop gambling. Looks like we're going into match now.
For the record, I'm a big Yingling man.
You'll take what you get and you'll be happy with it. I see a Kodiak back. All right, so there is 4 Kodiaks. I do see that, so that hasn't changed.
Well, that's good. So we're seeing... Whoa!
LBX
10 Kodiaks out of BTD.
BTD opting to immediately go left and push the Echo line. Oh my goodness.
Well then. They're going for it. Phoenix Hawk again out of steel.
I want to pick his brain. I would like to know what he likes to run on it. 6 small pulls?
Interesting.
It's interesting. I don't know.
It's definitely not something you see often.
No, that's kind of why I want to know why. Maybe it's a comfortability thing. I mean,
and it looks like one standard DACA Kodiak and 1 year Gauss Peep out of steel here. So
standard DACA. Find that.
Oh, it's Cheetah Winston. He took a bad shot. His right torso is open and basically 1 HP left on that structure.
And it looks like Steel is opting to hold back by the water tanks. Goodness, sorry about the camera there.
Yeah, that poor Cheetah.
That was not pretty.
He did not see that coming.
Force P is rolling over in for BTD, and it looks like they kind of want to take Theta. Oh, goodness. Sorry about that. Got all tabbed. BTD is very clumped up here.
The Shadow
BTD is... Ooh. I don't like the positioning here. I think they would be better served by trying to wrap right around Theta than trying to push through in the firing line here. That could be very disadvantageous for them. They have some cover. They should probably utilize it. I just don't know if they have the speed.
I don't think that they should try to push that corner, and I think them trying to back up and get another corner is definitely the play to make right here.
Yeah, they've definitely decided that is not the best course of action, and looks like they heard me.
Looks like they heard me, yep.
Or was it me? I think
Could
they heard
both.
me. I'm pretty loud. Looks like a Gamma Cap going out to BTD. Their lights are trying to do some work here and recover that cap disadvantage. And Steel Union's lights are kind of floating around back behind on the opposite side of Theta. Looks like they're trying to...
Looks like Steel realized what was going on and is trying to reposition, but I don't know if they're going to have enough time here.
This is a bit clumpy of a firing line here. A lot of fire going out from both teams. And This is anybody's
They are
game
putting
here.
a lot of fire down on these people as they push across, but I'm just not sure if it's going to be enough. If they manage to close the gap, and
This Warhammer is just not interested in clashing with that Kodiak. He takes a brutal burn. 57%. Oh, goodness. Looks like the Brawl team. BTD needs to close. They need to punch through. They have that Brawl. They need to take the backs.
They do manage to basically get on top of Steel here, though.
And Raven Knight goes down. He's the first kill on that Timber there. And immediately followed by a kill on Falcon in the Black Knight. Interesting choice of focus there. Kodiaks are still floating around here. And the first Kodiak goes down. And then 2 more kills go out for BTD. Overheat from Soviet Armada. And we have 3.
Down for both teams now.
It's 3-4. It's anybody's game. Let's see if these percentages numbers play in favor. Steel is just looking to get a focus fire, get a kill on that Warhammer. They want that Warhammer. They want to take that firepower out of the game here. Verite circling that 2d2, looking like he might actually win that engagement. And he is going to go down.
But a back shot on Lung Butter from
Lord. This Cheetah Winston here, TML Winston, is very beat up, and it looks like Stefan Grendel wants to take that. That Phoenix Hawk putting in some work here. Verite goes down for Steel Union, and it is 3-3. It is anybody's game. That Warhammer needs to die. Deathlord takes Logic Vice, and he goes down, and oh, it's
Vice
going in favor.
Overheated in the Warhammer, so
oh,
it actually
goodness.
It's going to go in favor of Steel.
Steel looking to try and preserve their mechs and just take this last kill here. They have the cap advantage.
It looks like Winston's going to go down here.
Not interested in dying. Not interested in dying here, though.
Can't quite catch him, but he's die. He's down to 1 small pulse. There's not a whole lot to be done
Block
here.
him with your body. He just doesn't have the speed to run away from the enemy team, and Deathlord goes ahead and takes the kill. Woo! That was an experience.
That was a fun brawl.
That is what I come here to cast.
There was some crazy stuff going on in the middle of there.
That was insane. You can't talk fast enough in that kind of engagement.
I have to give a shout out to Deathlord on that one, man. That was
shot.
An excellent play. That back shot on Lung Butter to save Verite, his teammate in the Cheetah.
Very well played there.
Well
Look
done.
at the damage numbers. Look at those Kodiaks just not allowed to do those absurd damage numbers we've been seeing. Nothing over 400. Very tight damage numbers.
Pretty decent damage spreads from both teams.
Raven Knight going a little bit low, but he was the first target of focus there.
An individual play right there.
Definitely, and I think that Union picking up on the fact that BTD was going to go ahead and rotate around Theta was crucial. They needed that response was just in time. I mean, if it had been any faster, it could have been a much more favorable win.
It was in time. So I think that damage that they put down as they tried to charge across and get on top of them was just enough. Basically what they needed. And I think a lot of it also was both teams basically shanked each other's Kodiaks almost immediately.
Yes, as soon as the engagement was met.
Very quick for both teams.
As soon as that engagement was met, it was it was a mess. Now, just to confirm, there were 3 alive for Steel Union at the end of that match, correct? Both teams got the bonus, both assaults and both heavies went down on that drop, so we're probably looking like close here on C-Bills. Rep. Excuse me. Union takes that with their win, puts them 100 rep above Blackthorn's Dragoons, but this is still anybody's game. Anybody's match, I should say. So you want to go ahead and, run us through the that drop there?
Right. Well, I believe the north side of this map is where they fought, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, this mini map always throws me
that
off
would be
a little
the
bit.
Charlie line, I believe.
Correct. So basically, what you saw at a deal was they positioned themselves basically up here, maybe spread a few mechs out here, and tried to get lines down across Theta towards Epsi. And it looked like from BTD side, they were trying to do a push, and they ended up bunching up here initially to try to get that happen. Now, I believe they wanted to try to push across that side, and then decided against it. Rightfully so, because honestly, I think that would have been a tragic error. But instead, turned around, went this way, and Steele had to quickly push in this direction to reposition themselves to get shots down in that direction. So, in all honesty, I have to say, well done by Steele. Shout out to a couple of their individual players doing some really good shots, just making those crucial shots in a situation where, honestly, it comes down to individual skill as opposed to positioning. Because honestly, in my opinion, both teams positioned there pretty well. Because while Steele did manage to reposition to get shots down on BTD, BTD's decision to turn around and go that opposite direction was a good call.
Definitely. And it looks like we've got all 16 people in here right now. Just getting everybody readied up, and Lance is set. I'm going to go ahead and be right back. One, you don't mind.
I do believe that the score is 2-2 right now.
It is 2-2. 900 rep to 800 rep in favor of Steel Union. We are going into Tourmaline.
All right, so BTD has to take this drop 5 to win the series here.
And they have to take it by a decent margin, yes. I think a victory, if it was a 7-8 victory, I think that would secure BTD a small rep lead. I believe. I can't mental math.
Well, they're very close right now going into this match. Very close on rep points. I'm looking at the league tables right now. If this is accurate, it looks like it is 5 matches played for both teams. 6,375 for Steel. 5,490 for Blackthorns Dragoons. 3rd and 4th place, respectively. Steel and BTD. So, Steel's got a little bit of a better win rate, looking at 16-9. BTD's looking at a 12-13, so not a positive win rate. However, they are kind of keeping close in points with Steel. So, if BTD wants to overtake Steel here in the league tables, they really need to win this 5th match very decisively. Now, drop 5 Tourmaline, probably one of the more interesting drops, I would say, of this series. Probably one of my favorite drops.
Oh, Tourmaline? Or drop 5?
Yeah. Drop 5 Tourmaline. Probably one of my favorite instances in this season. This whole season.
Yes, actually, it's actually has been my favorite drop so far. That was a very cool and enjoyable drop for me. I think the dynamic that you get with having that much firepower and the ranges you have to cover, really, I think makes a really cool dynamic played game. I'm looking forward to the second run of it, honestly. I'm hoping to cast a lot of matches on it because I think you see a lot of really cool things on Tourmaline, a lot of cool strategies. That the map has a lot of nuances to it, and you can do a lot of really interesting stuff with it. I mean, you can brawl on it, you can do a Daka push, you can do a hold laser burn, you can do a scratch match, you can do these big sweeping pushes, you can do these control strats. And not to say that you can't do those on other maps, but it just looks so goddamn cool when you do it on Tourmaline.
Well, honestly, Tourmaline, for a while there, it was, I think, in its very early inception of play, at least within the last year or so, it was ER large lasers all day, every day. That was all you did on that map. Now, and then once Daka started getting viable, you started seeing teams kind of whip out the direwolves and whip out the Kodiaks, back then it was last season it was maulers and direwolves, things of that nature. But either way, you were looking at basically just both teams spawn an alpha, kind of go at it, Daka, or one team's Daka, another one's ER large, and they try to play to control with each other. Now, with the emergence of the ER PPC play in the meta, I would definitely have to say that the dynamic has definitely changed, and it's kind of swung back more towards control. However, with ER large laser not quite being what it is, and with ER PPC actually becoming more prevalent, and in my opinion, this makes it more interesting, is that the control becomes less about focus fire and actually getting angles on your opponent. So, teams like to spread out, get get multiple spots and cover things. And if one team gets aggressive as an 8-man push, the other team just responds to it by flexing out or receiving or doing what they have to. But point is that 8 people don't just run around in a ball together on this map anymore. Especially during the regional, some of the more interesting matches there.
And it looks like we're going into game here. Last and final drop. 2 lights, 2 heavies, 4 assaults on Tourmaline. It is 2-2 right now, and Steel Union is holding a 100-rep lead at 900 to 800 for BTD. Let's see what we can see. Go in for a close. And I'm seeing an Atlas out of Blackthorn's Dragoons, a Mauler, 2 Kodiaks, surprise, and a Battlemaster for Union. So it looks like BTD wants to brawl. Or some form of brawl. 2 Kodiaks and a Stalker 5M. What is on that 5M? I need to know.
That is, I believe that is the missile variant. Yep. 5 SRM6 and a large laser.
It looks like they want to brawl here. And
they brought a
Mauler and the Kodiaks.
I assume for ECM coverage.
Maulers and Kodiaks presenting on the right side, of stage, looking to take some picks here, and they're not receiving any pushback here. Interesting. Looks like BTD is congregating over towards Stargate. They have 2 caps right now, but I think looks like Union is just out for blood.
I am not sure about this from BTD. Well, I mean, if Steel can't get the angles, but I believe that they can.
It looks like BTD wants to go ahead and rotate to the right side of stage, move over to window.
Squeezing
these assaults
think
across.
Steel is way too far up for this right now. I think they need to be spread out much farther than this right now.
Sometimes you just got to wait for your enemy to come to you, and you don't want to get too up into their business, especially against a brawl team. You have to know. You don't want to get that firepower on you. And the Battlemaster looks like he's almost caught out there. He manages to sneak away from the DDC and the
Grasshopper jumps down. I think he fell off the top and he goes right down in front of a Stalker and an Atlas.
Oh man, he managed to squeeze away. He's at 57%. It's this. They have to take this engagement now. The DDC rolling to the right. Oh my goodness. And this is probably going to be the first kill. And a double. Oh goodness. What went down? They managed to take that Atlas and they're putting themselves back. BTD has stopped dedicating. At this point, they need to push in. They need to take that brawl in. That Stalker needs to use his armor. Kodiak getting beat up alone here. 4 people looking at that Kodiak, and he just goes to 59%. The same thing with the Timberwolf, peeking alone. You cannot have that, especially against that powerful of a firing line. And the Stalker goes ahead and moves in on that Mauler. Mauler taking a beating, and he goes down. It is 2-1 in favor of Blackthorn's Dragoons.
Right now, I think Steel needs to keep their Kodiaks alive, and alternatively, I think BTD really needs to go after them.
And it's 2-2. Soviet Armada, and another kill, and it's 3-3. I cannot keep up. There are just too many kills. Fango goes down to the Battlemaster, and a Stalker goes down for Blackthorn's Dragoons. It's 4-4, and it's Kodiak still up. If Soviet Armada can stay alive, he can deny that bonus.
Yeah, but they did not do enough damage to Soviet Armada and the Kodiak on
He is too fresh.
So right now, I do not see this going very well for Blackthorn's Dragoons.
Vlad Grendel is all up in that Black Knight's business. That's the only significant amount of firepower that they have left for Blackthorn's Dragoons. And that Kodiak is just so goddamn fresh. Black Knight is left out alone, and he overheats! Oh, goodness. And he is going to go down. Maybe? Maybe not?
Well, I don't know.
There he goes.
If Soviet can manage to do a 1v2 here, it looks like Verite and the Cheetah is actually legged. So I'm not sure how helpful he's going to be right here.
Now, at this point, it almost would be in Blackthorn's Dragoon's favor to go ahead and split to cap. They have the speed advantage while they're still... Oh, goodness! That shotgun jetter just took a nasty alpha to the CT. And he goes down. And now the ball is in...
I do not see BTD coming away with this one right now.
Is in BTD's court. The Cheetah did a lot of...
This Cheetah, he does not.
Oh, goodness. So fresh on both of those two mechs.
But still alive with all weapons and Soviet Armada. Still has armor. Still has front armor. Still has his good arm. The only thing he's missing armor in is that bad arm of his, which we all know on Kodiaks is pretty pointless. Especially the Gossip Peep version. I got to give it to Haji and the Cheetah. No surrender. But I'm not sure that there's a whole lot that he can do right here. As soon as he tries to decap Kappa, I think Soviet's going to know exactly where he's at.
I think he's already got a read on where he is, actually.
Yeah, I think they already had an idea of where he was going.
Haji looking a little bit beat up here.
Trying to see if he can manage to get a line on him. Yeah, Haji is very close to dead.
At this point, if Haji plays this right, it's possible.
He's missing a torso.
He is missing a torso, and I'm looking at more of a cap win than anything else, honestly. If he can manage to do that.
To get away from Soviet barely.
I don't know if Soviet knows where he went.
Verite is off a long walk to Sigma.
It's going to be a painful and annoying walk. At this point, once Verite is pretty much committed to Sigma. Now, if Haji manages to cap Gamma quickly enough and rotate back either to Epsi or come back to Kappa, I would almost advise him coming back to Kappa. He may be able to actually take something of this. Score disparity is not that high, but he didn't get much in the mileage out of Kappa there.
They would have to take a 3 cap at this point, get back up on the score, and it would have to be soon. And I don't see that happening because Soviet, as I figured, is going to cap Kappa and probably immediately move back towards Theta, I would assume.
For the decap, prevent that decap, yes.
Correct. So the only thing that he really needs to do is between Theta and Kappa to make sure that Haji is not able to decap either, and they just wait it out.
Especially with Verite probably full capping that Sigma cap and pulling away all the points that they're getting there.
Correct.
A good move from Steel Union here. Now we get to launch the long and lonely walk.
I can only imagine what's going on in Verite's mind right now.
Probably a lot of nothing. A long walk, my friend. Who knows? Maybe he put himself on auto run and went out and had a smoke.
I doubt that.
I don't know, man. It's a long walk.
Yeah, I don't see a whole lot happening here.
Work on my National Geographic camera. If I can.
All about those camera skills.
All about those camera skills.
Well, I suppose we can talk about what happened in the earlier part of the match. So I definitely have to say, Steel did a good job of repositioning and kind of skirting away from BTD there.
Actually, I'm going to try something.
I was very interested to see the Atlas, though. And the LBX-10 Kodiaks. I think that's the first time I've seen that in comp play so far. Oh, it actually looks like Soviet is going more towards Epsi. Might actually have eyes on Haji if he looks right here. See him? He does not. And it looks like Soviet is going to Epsi, but Haji is turning around and going to Theta.
Gotta give it to him. Nice and slow. Not much of a interesting match here at this end here, sadly. But not every match can be a cliffhanger. We've had some really cool matches today.
I mean, honestly, this match was close and exciting. So, up until now.
Oh man.
That fight that happened in the middle of it, though, that was one heck of a fight.
Yes, it was. It was quite a slugfest, but I think mostly what happened, and that's what was sparked by that, I think, was just the Hopper. Hopper fell down
to know and what was going through that guy's mind.
His 3 seconds of agony and despair.
I would like to think that perhaps he didn't know exactly what was going on, and just, I think the call was made to maybe push beyond Theta towards Stargate, and perhaps that player didn't quite realize where they were at, so he decided to drop down to join up with the rest of his team, and, surprise Atlas. Right in the face.
It wasn't just the Atlas. There's a whole firing line there.
Oh, yeah, that's true. It was the Kodiaks and the Stalker as well, so... That poor man. He did not live long.
It was a brutal thing to watch.
Interestingly enough, Haji has managed to get a 3-cap.
Well, would you look at that? The big issue is Sigma and Theta, Sigma and Epsilon, are both full capped. The issue is he can't afford to stay and full cap them. So the two mechs, I know that Sigma is basically out of the question here. So he's playing a 4-cap, and yes, he has the speed, but he doesn't have the time
to fight back. Much coming out of this unless I would like to say that Verite should perhaps move towards Kappa.
At this point, Verite is just denying a cap. Honestly, he has full firepower. So at this point, I think I'd honestly say he's making the right choice. He's guaranteeing a Sigma cap.
It looks like Haji is going to make a move, though. With his one small pulse against Soviet Armada.
Yep, and the 200 to 300 meter poke into his cheeks. Scraping some percentages here. And Soviet has no idea. Dazed and confused, he looks for his target.
No, he's aware. He's aware. He's just...
I don't know if he is. I wouldn't flip my back
I think he lost him now.
Yep, there he is. Yep, there it is. He found him. Haji manages to dodge that and deny the cap, but it is not going to go well for our valiant hero Cheetah here. Ring around the rosy.
Cheetah's got some dance moves like Michael Jackson, let me tell you. He does take a shot there, but not quite enough.
And the game is over. Managing to keep that mech alive in the face of everything and anything.
Well, at least they got that going for them.
And let's go ahead and take a look at those damage numbers here. Oh, goodness. 800 damage out of that Kodiak.
Soviet Armada. Yep, 806. 3 kills, 4 assists.
I would like to point out that Vlad in the Warhammer at 34% still has 604 damage. He was very beat up, and he went and brawled on that the Black Knight on the enemy team, actually. And he managed to take some pretty good damage there. Tank and survive for a very long time. That was anybody's game up until that point, I think.
I'd also like to point out the 627 damage coming out of TML Brian on BATD side in the Kodiak 3.
And 3 kills.
Yep, and 3 kills, so.
Kills are very concentrated in the Kodiaks, actually, ironically enough.
Half
both
of his
Kodiaks
kills came from that man.
That is what Kodiak do.
You would know.
All right. Let's look at the final scores there. Kodiak was alive for Steel Union, so there is no bonus for BTD there, sadly. So it looks like Steel Union got 7 kills there, though Cheetah was still alive, and there was 2 mechs alive for Steel Union, so that is a 7-6 decision, putting us at 1,250 rep to 950 rep for B. Steel Union goes ahead and takes this in a 3-2 decision. Small, but actually not even a small, but pretty decent rep lead. 200 plus, 300, excuse me. Told you guys I can't math. So let's go ahead and go over that last drop here real quick while we've got time. Get the overlay up for you. The first half of the match, mind you. Not the run around shenanigans. So the initial movements from both teams that we were seeing, for Steel Union, we went ahead and we saw a kind of a crest up here as they presented, and then I saw them kind of like wrap onto stage for a little bit there as BTD went ahead and made this like kind of group up maneuver toward Stargate, and they came in here, and at this point,
they actually spawned Bravo Charlie, so it was more.
Oh, okay. I didn't see Alpha spawn. I think it was like a light or something.
But continue.
Oh, I thought you were taking over.
Yeah.
Oh, well, a shame. So at that point, what I noticed is that some of the mechs for BTD bled around into the window area, Echo 6, right? And then the assaults cut tight as Steel Union went ahead and made this choice to drop down in choice of... They were trying, looked like they were trying to take back shots. And they kind of wrapped around Theta here and set up a line like this, right? Let me clean this. They moved off of stage here. Trying to make an arrow, it's not working very well. BTD did this like kind of split maneuver here, and we had some firepower coming through Echo 6, right? And the Stalker and the Atlas and Kodiak, I'd have to watch again, but I think Kodiak wrapped through here, and this was when the hopper fell down. And I think that's what sparked that engagement, because BTD didn't look like they were really willing to dedicate to that yet. They didn't know if... They seemed kind of unsure if they wanted to dedicate to that, but that hopper fell down and they just burnt him down to 53%.
Well, actually, that hopper fell down and he did die relatively quickly. Now, the thing is that BTD then proceeded to kind of poke on Steel for a while. Remember, I believe it was someone in that Kodiak. I forget who it was, but that Kodiak took a lot of fire because he was poking by himself. And then I think they realized their mistake, and then they backed up, and then they had the Stalker go in, and then they all just rushed out. Now, at that point, I think Steel had already successfully managed to reposition themselves for the most part, and they did manage to trade kills, a hopper for something else, so not a huge deal that they were down a mech, although that probably did make it closer than they would have liked. But, you know.
And it tightened things up a little bit there, and I think that Union... Just honestly, I think the big thing is that the Kodiak didn't get touched. He was so fresh that he was able to just take free shots and do his job. And at that point, those mechs have got to go down. Got to go down. And I think that's what really bit BTD in the butt there, that they just couldn't touch that Kodiak.
Yeah, Soviet Armada in the back. He was completely untouched and basically just doing whatever he wanted. So, definitely have to say that maybe the light mechs from BTD should have done something about that. Not sure, but that definitely cost them in that engagement, especially.
So, do we have another match lined up, or is that the only one for tonight?
I believe that is the only one for tonight. I would like to apologize to everybody. I know we were supposed to do Risen Pugs versus 42. I would have liked to watch it too. But unfortunately, there was a scheduling snafu, and I believe that they have postponed it. I am not sure, but we will. Sure, that information will become available in the future. And that's all I really had to say about that.
We just didn't want to leave you guys without any cast at all, so we found something. We got something together, and my thanks to both teams actually for being so willing to just up and let us cast and their patience. I know that there was bumps in the beginning, but thank you very much for your viewership and coming in and tuning in. And I promise the next time I cast, it will be Reputation and not C-Bills. Thank you for tuning in, and on behalf of me and Snap, good night.